Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you to go through. You can rummage through my mail with me today. Always a lot of fun. A little bit self-conscious on a day like today. I went to the Brattle Bookshop today, and I went to the Brattle Bookshop yesterday. So I feel a little self-conscious about that, considering that I get stacks of free books in the mail anyway. I firmly believe, as I said in that video, I firmly believe that you would all do the same. You're in no position to judge me. Uh, uh, it's a beautiful sunny day here, and mild. For what the first time, what feels like forever, it's actually shirt sleeve weather again, which is great. I'm hoping that this doesn't let up. I'm hoping there are no other troughs of chilly weather to come. I'm hoping that this is just this way for the next 8 months. That would be tremendous, absolutely tremendous. We got some periodicals. One of you very kindly took advantage of one of those deals for magazines. Sometimes you get them where if you renew your subscription, you can give a free subscription to someone else. They get a free subscription for a year. Maybe you get a new customer that way. I love those deals. I love to take advantage of them for other people, and I love when people take advantage of them for me. It's just nobody thinks to ask. And one of you did that for Archaeology magazine. There's Alexander the Great on the cover there. And this has been wonderful, wonderful fun to go through. Also, the New Yorker with a great New Yorker cover. Just fantastic. Who does that? It's called Into the Light, and it's by Pascal Campion, who I think has done other things that I've really liked. I haven't looked at this yet at all to see what's in it. We'll see. And also the TLS, the Times Literary Supplement, with the headlining piece being the new biography of Carson McCullers. So it'll be a nice Tom Seymour Evans reviews the new life of Carson McCullers. So we'll see what is made of that. And then we have a bunch of packages. Let's see if we have anything that's really intriguing. Shall we? We'll start with W.W. Norton, my favorite non-Penguin publisher. See what they have for me here. Okay. All right, this comes out in July. This is more translated literature. How wonderful. I seem to be getting a lot of that. This is Quincas Borba by Joaquim Maria Mercado de Assis, translated by Margaret Joel Costa and Robin Patterson in a paperback original. Yes? Is that right? No, this is going to be a hardcover for $30 from the Liverite people. It's got blurbs on it already. Let's see here. De Assis is back. He's more mischievous than ever. A progenitor of 20th century fiction, once described by Susan Sontag as, quote, one of the finest writers ever produced in Latin America. Mercado's playful, irreverent satire has found a new generation of readers thanks to Margaret Joel Costa and Robin Patterson's keen translation of Don Casmurro, the posthumous memoirs of Bras Cubas, and now Quincas Borba at Liverite. This was originally published in 1891 amidst two momentous changes in Brazil, the abolition of slavery in 1888, promptly followed by Brazil's transformation from empire to republic. Against this backdrop, the author chose to set this book 20 years earlier in 1860s Rio de Janeiro, as Brazil was taking its first steps towards abolition. Deeply impacted by this historical moment, as the grandson of freed slaves, Mercado slyly incorporates his political views throughout the novel, infusing them subtly within the text. Okay, 1891. Fantastic. All right, more translated literature. This is quite a ways down the line. This is July, so I will chuck it on my work bookcase, but I won't deal with it. I won't deal with anything to do with it now. So let's move on here to this next one. Light as a feather, whatever it is. What have we got here? Oh, how apropos. All right, this is. I don't need that. This is from Basic Books. It's a tiny little thing. Okay, is this a reprint? This might be a reprint. This comes out in mid-May. Yeah, this is a reprint of Venus and Aphrodite by Bettany Hughes. the author of The Hemlock Cup, which is our Steve Tiberius Donoghue book club pick for this month. So this is, I don't know if I ever got this in hardcover. Did we ever see this last year in hardcover? Aphrodite, the famous goddess of love, lives on in popular culture today, although we seldom see her as more than a symbol of commercialized romance, a beautiful figure in a rose-tinted gown. But Aphrodite is in fact far richer and more complicated than she first appears. Long before the ancient Greeks conceived of this voluptuous blonde, she existed as an early spirit of fertility on the shores of Cyprus, and thousands of years before that as a ferocious warrior goddess in the Middle East. Okay. I don't remember that if I ever read this. This is going to be a paperback, 200 pages, coming out in the middle of next month. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to remember if I've ever read it. That's always a little annoying. All right, let's move on here. I'm going to work We've got to work the feng shui so that we don't block the bean, the tired little bean. What is this next one? Oh, also from Basic Books. Fantastic. I've mentioned a couple of times now that Basic Books is on a roll for the stuff that they are greenlighting, the stuff that they are buying, and the stuff that they are bringing out. Their nonfiction is incredible. They've been on a consistent roll for nonfiction, history, biography. I myself have suspicion as to a key player in that what could be called a mini renaissance, but I will hold my tongue. It's probably a team effort. So, speak of the devil. All right. This pub sheet is addressed to Kit Kat MC. Okay. So what have we got here? The book is Vertigo, The Rise and Fall of Weimar Germany by Harald Janner. What a cover. Just unbelievable. What preceded the unyielding violence, nationalism, and tragedy of Adolf Hitler's totalitarian regime in Nazi Germany? Surprisingly, democracy. Yeah, democracy. The Weimar Republic had a vibrant art scene, a vibrant literary culture, and everything was so much better than it had been in the devastating years of the war that people really didn't pay attention to that. I mean, how important could the antics be of our politicians? Who are some famous Weimar politicians? Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. Figures like that are lost to history. How important could they be in what was coming? The Weimar Republic, 1918 to 1933, born from the ashes of defeat in World War I, was characterized not only by political instability and economic hardship, but also by cultural innovation. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Against this backdrop of social upheaval and uncertainty, the nascent republic found itself challenged by the complexities of democratic governance. And the author is a prize-winning journalist, and here he uncovers the emotional state of the Republic, the feelings, moods, and sensations underlying the shifting political attitudes and conflicts of the age. Oh, boy. Oh, that sounds fantastic. When's the last study? There was a study of Weimar Germany, I want to say 10 years ago. Not by Basic. It's by an academic press. Oh, who would know? The one person I automatically think would know is dead now, so I can't ask him. He would know. I'll have to look it up. Let's see. As the author delves into the lives of Weimar citizens in this engaging history, he raises enduring questions about the individual responsibility within a democracy. While the Republic was plagued with political partisanship and a tumultuous economy, many of its citizens embraced an unfamiliar freedom amid the cultural revolutions of this era. Germans enjoyed dance halls and jazz music, denounced gender norms and more traditional politics of the body, and fostered a vibrant and artistic avant-garde. This book relates the innately human history of the Weimar Republic political landscape and its fallout, adding the necessary social perspective to commonly held conceptions of German history. Oh my, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I am on board. Completely on board. Okay, great. So this, what did we say? This comes out, did we say a time? This comes out in early September. So I'm really tempted to read it now, though. But it comes out in early September. So a long time from now. I wonder how bad the heat dome will be. I wonder how many of you will still, if you live in the western half of the United States, I wonder how many of you will still have homes. or school districts or entire cities by then. But it's a long way away, probably too far away for me to justify reading it. Let's see what's next here. Whatever's next is not going to call me a Kit Kat MC. No matter what happens, it's not going to do that, unfortunately. Right. Okay. All right. This is wrapped in plastic, but we're gonna rip this open here because you're definitely gonna want to see this. Well, I thought. Not to be poor little me, but I actually thought that this request had just been forgotten. This is lovely. Okay, this has a foreword by Cy Montgomery, who needs no introduction on book 2. This is text by David Patterson, illustrated by Matt Patterson, and it is Freshwater Fish of the Northeast. Look at that. Freshwater Fish of the Northeast. Fantastic. And that's what this is. It's just, you get a description of the fish along with a beautiful, plain illustration. No action shots here, just this is what it looks like. And it's got French flaps here. And it's got no dust jacket, just a really durable kind of rubbery feel to it. Very nice. Most anglers are well aware of the popular game fish that inhabit the Northeast, including largemouth bass, rainbow trout, and yellow perch. But the region's inland waters boast a much broader array of fish than first meets the eye or hook. I might point out there's no such thing as game fish any more than there are game people. It's a crime-ridden night in South Central Philadelphia. I wonder how many game people are out. There aren't any game fish. They're just fish you choose to kill. Go out of your way to do it. You don't just kill them, you torture them. Hence the mention of a hook. You put the hook out there to trick them into impaling themselves, and then you wait and watch and laugh and joke with your friends as they exhaust themselves fighting for their lives in agony. There's no such thing as a game fish. They're just fish, some of which you choose to kill. Anyway, father and son team. I actually wondered how the writer and the illustrator were related. Father and son team David and Matt Patterson have pursued both game fish and bait fish in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New York. They have not done that. No offense to the book, but they have not done that. Neither one of them has ever jumped in the water. They have not pursued these fish. They've tricked the fish onto a barbed hook. That's what they've done. They haven't dove in the water. Good luck to a human pursuing any of these fish. It would never happen. You wouldn't come close to doing it. They haven't done that. They played a trick on these animals in order to torture them to death. But anyway, in this book, they describe and illustrate more than 60 different species, from the well-known to the obscure, including the redfin pickerel, blueback trout, and slimy sculpin. It's a pet name that Deb had for me in 2 of our marriages. This colorful and helpful guide includes detailed information on habits, habitats, history, and more. And the pub sheet goes on to say that a lot of these pictures are based on the author's own captures, based on the author's own live catches. But it's about the fish. This is not a book about fishing. This is a book about the victims of fishing. So I'm perfectly free to read it and like it. Great. Fantastic. I'll have to check the date on it. I think the date has long since passed. But I'm glad to have it anyway. Let's see what this next one is. We do end with a box. I don't know if I mentioned that ahead of time, but we do end with a box. So what is this next one? Look at all this stuff. I do not need any of this stuff. All right. This thing comes out. Oh, it comes out on April 23rd, just a couple of weeks from now. Okay. This should probably go on the stack for tonight, unless the box is infinitely more appealing. Most of the stuff is well down the line, so I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to have to get to it tonight, which is just as well, because I have now a pile of secondhand books that I want to start making a dent in. This is by Ari Berman, and it is called Minority Rule: The Right-Wing Attack on the Will of the People and the Fight to Resist It. And this comes out in late April. I imagine it's going to talk about voter suppression and gerrymandering, which is the only reason we have Republicans getting elected to office, is because of voter suppression and gerrymandering. And so Ari Berman, political journalist and national voting rights correspondent for Mother Jones, returns with his new book, Minority Rule, which comes out in late April, and this is going to be $30. In this book, Political Berman, okay, it's all right, Berman dug into the history of the Voting Rights Act. John Lewis declared it long overdue in his review in the Washington Post, saying it should become a primer for every American. Okay, that was Give Us the Ballot. That was his previous book. Because John Lewis is not reviewing anything anymore, unfortunately. He's not raking people over the coals in Congress anymore either. With this book, the author broadens his scope, exploring the crisis of democracy that goes back to the roots of the American experiment, a crisis that is far older and bigger than even Donald Trump. Chilling and revelatory, this book exposes the long history of the conflict between white supremacy and multiracial democracy that has reached a fever pitch today, while also telling the inspiring story of resistance to these regressive efforts. Okay. All right. Well, I haven't read the book. I will read the book soon. The point is Donald Trump. If you're spending more than a third of your book at the absolute most talking about how, this is much bigger than Trump, really, we should take our eye off his ball and onto the larger picture, then you've written a Trump book. The point here is Trump. Let's see here. The mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021 represented an extreme form of the central danger facing American democracy today, a blatant disregard for the will of the majority. But this crisis didn't begin or end with Donald Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 election. No, it's true it didn't, but no one else has done that. No one else has done that. And he wants to do it again. Okay, context is great. That's fine. Through voter suppression, election subversion, gerrymandering, dark money, the takeover of the courts, and the whitewashing of history, reactionary white conservatives have strategically entrenched power in the face of a massive demographic and political shift. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to see. I will read this tonight if the box doesn't override it. The box might override it, and certainly the Brattle. Oh, the Brattle comes close to overriding it. I have so many new books, new to me, new here, books to either read or reread. I have to confess, I mean the Weimar book is the temptation here so far, although we still have the box to do. But of all the things I've got in the last 2 days, books in the mail and books at the Brattle Bookshop, the one that's appealing to me the most is something that a lot of you would consider, my grandfather's books. Oh, that dusty thing in the attic. Oh, that yard sale book. And it's Alan Eckert. It's the author Alan Eckert. That is pulling at me the most of all of them. But let's see. This could change things. The box breaks the suspense. It tells me that whatever is in here goes on sale on April 23rd. So this is also right coming up. So this, whatever it is, this could easily be on the reading list for tonight. Let's get all this stuff out of here. Oh, I've already read it. Okay. Do I have a sheet? No paperwork at all. All right, well, I've already read it, but I will read it again. My first reading of it was fairly negative. And I always feel, I tend to go back and reread these things anyway, unless the thing is either so clearly dumb that I don't need to, or so clearly multifaceted that I need to let it settle for a while. Definitely reread it, but where I need to wait a while before I go at it again. We've done a couple of books like that this year. This is not one of them. This is from Dutton, and I'm going to give this another try. Definitely. This is by David Rohl, and this is Ascent to Power. This is the finished copy of his book about Truman taking over from FDR. And my reaction to the first time was negative. It was that this is an easy, facile book. And I understand that, of course. The market certainly is there for easy, facile books about Harry Truman. But it always disappoints me when I see, because I guess I mentioned before I had a historian friend who used to say that books like this serve a purpose. and it's an important purpose, so you shouldn't want them gone. Okay, all right, I guess I see that. But the point here is that this author has done work that I liked a lot better than this, and that always makes you suspicious of my own reading. Maybe I had, a bad bit of broccoli or whatever, and maybe that was influenced. I doubt it very much. I don't tend to go into books that way, but here we'll have the author biography here, so we can go at that again. He's the author of George Marshall and The Hopkins Touch, and the co-author of Lewis Johnson and the Arming of America, a biography of Truman's defense secretary. After serving as an assistant director for the Bureau of Competition at the FTC, Roll practiced law as a partner in Steptoe & Johnson LLP and founded the Lex Mundi Pro Bono Foundation, a public interest organization that continues to provide pro bono legal services to social entrepreneurs around the world. And he lives in Washington, D.C. And I've heard him talk. I should not dislike this book. I know that that's a random thing. You can never know. But now that I have it again, it actually does make its way to the top of the pile. I don't have a sheet on this. I think this is out already. But I need to give this another try. Definitely. It could be that the author just wrote a book that's not appealing to me this time around. But good. I'm glad to have it. I'm glad to have the finished copy. Very good. Those of you who are interested in this, you might want to, request it at your library or pre-order it. And if you're really interested in the subject, if this is the kind of thing, FDR or Truman or this, the ushering into the 1950s, if this is the kind of subject that's a must-buy for you anyway, it's not. This period is not for me. I'm interested in it, but it's not a must-buy for me. But if it is for you, and you were going to get this anyway, then I'd love to put our heads together about what you made of it. To maybe inform what my initial reaction to it was. But anyway, that is the mail. We have Ascent to Power. We have Minority Rule about voter suppression and gerrymandering. We have Freshwater Fish of the Northeast. We have Vertigo about Weimar Germany, about the vibrancy of Weimar Germany, it sounds like. We have the paperback release of Venus and Aphrodite by Bettany Hughes. And we have Quincas Borba by Mercado de Assis. So more of this author being translated and brought out in attractive new editions. Really nice. Can't really argue with that. So there you go. That is the mail. I think that more mail is on the way, but I will patiently let it accumulate until next time. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.